The following portion of Fox 43 AM Live is sponsored by Electrical Specialists.
Welcome back to Fox 43 AM Live. In today's edition of Ask Your Local Electrician, Brandon Hogan with Electrical Specialists answers your questions about what to expect during home inspection.
Here's Brandon Hogan with more about grounding. Take a look.
How's it going, everybody? And thank you for joining us today on Ask Your Electrician. I'm Brandon with Electrical Specialists, and today we're going to be starting a 4-part series on what to inspect when having a home inspection. Now today, first we're going to be talking about a home inspection in terms of buying or selling a home. So there's many forms of home inspections. Just a disclaimer out there, we're only going to be talking about it in the sense of you're buying or selling a home. There's going to be a whole home inspection to find out the basics of what's going on with the house. And that's what we're going to be talking about, especially in reference to the electrical. So there's obviously two scenarios when you're the buyer or the seller. If you're selling the house, you don't really want to find everything. You're trying to get by as little as possible. You got to make that sale. We totally understand it. You just want the basics covered. You want it to be done, get the house sold. In the other situation, you're the buyer. When you're the buyer, you want to know everything, every little nook and cranny. You want to know, what are the dangers? My family's going to be living in here. This is a large investment for me. So you're more worried about every little thing. You could ask, well, Brandon, do I need to hire a contractor to look over everything individually? Is the all-in-one home inspection going to be enough? Do I need to have each trade come in and look over it with a fine-tooth comb? And the answer is always, it depends. What do you want out of it? You could easily go to our website or to YouTube and check out. We do have a video on that, the difference between the two inspections and what you should know about them as far as that goes. So today we're just going to jump right into it, and we're going to be talking, of course, about home inspections, electrical side of it, and we're going to start with grounding. So what is grounding? It's a very general term we like to throw around in electrical. But it's pretty self-explanatory. It is the means by which overcurrent is discharged safely from your home, from your electrical system back into the earth. That's as far as we're talking about with this item today. That's what we're going to talk about. So it's very important, especially in today's day and age. It's going to make your surge protection work properly. It actually makes your breakers trip properly and on time and quicker. So it's a big thing. It's our #1 concern. It's what's going to come up the most on it. So that's what we're going to kind of focus on today in this episode. So where do we start? We're just going to, before we ever go into the house, we're outside, we're walking around, let's go to the back. We're going to look at the meter on the back of the house. You're either going to have an underground service lateral or an above ground pipe going up, your riser going up to meet the power lines. Somewhere next to that meter, there's going to be a shiny gold-colored copper line that goes down to the ground into a ground rod. We're going to have a picture of it right here just so you can see what it looks like. So it should be a bare conductor about the size of the felt of a Sharpie, and you're going to see it leave the meter box and go down, and it should tie to an 8-foot long by 1/2-inch ground rod. A lot of times they use this for somewhere for a lightning strike to go, since it's on the exterior of the home. It is considered to draw a little bit of static and charge, so it's just a great place to ground it when that happens. Next, we're going to go inside, and we're going to go, if there's a downstairs, we're going to go down there. If it's a slab home, we're going to find the closet. We're going to find the water main. Where does the water enter your house at? Typically, it's in the basement on the street side of the home. Most areas are laid out with the water easement and all your utilities are out front. That's usually the easiest place to find them. We're going to find the water main and look for the shutoff valve. Within 5 foot of that shutoff valve, there should be a connection. And that connection is going to have the same size of ground wire. It's going to be non-coated, so it'll be bare, and it's going to go all the way back to your electrical panel. Now, if you have a disconnect on the outside of your house, and that's the first means of shutting off your electrical power, it should go all the way out to the disconnect. So we get a lot of people that ask us, well, Brandon, my panel has a ground that comes out, and right next to the panel above it, it hits the water line, so I'm good to go. Yes, we would have been good to go 50 years ago before we found out that a piece of plastic tubing would be replaced for copper tubing in our water system. It's called PEX. People started using it not too long ago. Just let's play the scenario that you've got a water leak or a pipe that needs replaced in your electrical or in your plumbing system. A plumber's going to come over. 95% of the time they're going to cut it out, put in a piece of plastic. Well, now that really good grounding system you had going outside is stopped in the middle, and it actually creates a fire hazard for you only going to that one part. So we need it to go all the way to the water line, to the main. Next, we're going to walk around and look for the gas bond. The water line should be connected to the gas line, and usually the easiest place to do it is the water heater. Typically, most gas-powered water heaters are going to have the water and the gas right there, so it's easy to jump off and hit that. Now, the reason we're bonding that is because of static. If you have flexible gas line, look something like this. If you have this in your home like most people do, it's going to be a connection at your furnace, maybe a connection at your stove. These flexible gas lines actually create a lot of static buildup, and if there's ever a hole or puncture in them, it can create an explosion problem. So it's happened enough where we have to bond this to make sure that doesn't happen. Now, if you don't have any flexible gas line in your house and you're hard piped into every device that has gas, you may not need this. All right, now we're going to make our way over to the main panel. Assuming your main panel is in the basement like most people, we're going to carefully take off the cover. Now, disclaimer, if you're not comfortable with this, please do not get into your panel. It's okay if you don't feel comfortable, but if you do, go ahead and shut the main power off just to make it as safe as possible. Take the screws out, take the cover off. You're going to need a flashlight or a headlamp to see what's going on to be safe, and let's take a look. The first thing we're going to look at is if there's a pipe going from your meter outside to your panel inside, it's going to need to be bonded. So you're going to need what's called a bond bushing. Here's a picture of one. That's kind of what they look like. It's going to have again, a bare copper line coming off of it going to your grounding, making sure that that pipe is also part of your grounding system. The last thing we're going to look for is to see if all the grounds and neutrals are bonded on the ground bar. It's totally fine to have neutrals and grounds put together on the ground bar, but you need to make sure the neutrals are on their own lug and not two in one. They need to be in their own separate ones. Also, if you do have a disconnect outside or a main panel outside, the panel inside is now a sub-panel, and the grounds and neutrals need to be completely separated on different bars like this picture here. That's pretty much it for the grounding side of it. Next time we're going to come in and we're going to walk around the house and look for devices and lighting. Hey everybody, thanks for watching, hanging out with us. If you have any more questions or if you want to know more about any of these subjects we cover, go to our website at www.especialists.pro. There's tons of stuff on there to get you through it.
The preceding portion of Fox 43 AM Live was sponsored by Electrical Specialists.